Marshall hoped that we would view freedom as an opportunity to do what is right and not a right to do as we please. But is that not the reality of the world today? Good afternoon there. My name is Mamitra, and I welcome you to your most authoritative youth analysis program, Youth Empowerment Television Show, here on Pan-African TV. Today, I urge you to be part of the show as I engage in a conversation about the importance of nationalism and patriotism amongst the Ghanaian youth. And my guest is Prince A.A. Sadat. I know you are itchy as much as I am to hear his expert views on this topic. But of course, your views and thoughts are also welcome on our WhatsApp number 053-1320-444. I've seen a number of you who've joined us through our Facebook live feed. You can leave your questions and thoughts also in the comment section. Do well today to click on the share button so that other people will become part of the conversation this afternoon. It promises to be nothing short of an intellectual discourse. I'm sure you do not want to miss this. So I'm not even taking a break today. I'm going straight into the conversation. So that's you're welcome.
Thank you, Manager.
How are you?
I'm doing good. Yourself?
I'm battling some very stubborn cold, but aside that, I'm well.
I think it's the weather.
Yes, yeah. I believe so. Okay, so that I don't want to take words out of your mouth. Introduce yourself. Give us a brief profile about who Prince A.A. Sadat is.
Okay, thank you, and good afternoon to your viewers. Prince A.A. Sadat, a lot of people do ask about the A.A.
We are curious.
From.
Yeah,
that's Prince Amadou Anwar Sadat.
Okay.
Yes, my surname is Amadou. Anwar Sadat is a compound name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was named after the Egyptian president, Ahmed Anwar Sadat.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
I see.
I'm from Wa in the Upper West region of Ghana. Currently, I'm the National Youth Wing Administrator of the New Patriotic Party and the founder of Prince Sadat Chemi's Foundation.
Okay, I read your profile and you have a tall list. You are like this animal. You have so many feathers, and I think they're so colorful and beautiful. I was hoping to hear all of that, but I think
because of time.
No problem.
Yes.
You've cut it short for us. You've summarized it for us. Okay, so now let's get into our discourse. You know, this word patriotism, almost everybody uses the word. We all throw the word about, but I've sat down to really ask myself, what does it really mean to be a patriot? Is it that when you stand during the recital of the national anthem, you are patriotic? Does, knowing how to sing all the patriotic songs of a country make you a patriot? What exactly does it mean to be a patriot?
Okay, thank you once again. I think patriotism, if you want to put it in simple terms, is a deep love for your country. Having deep love for your country, and not necessarily the wearing of a coat of arms or the national emblem, just as it's on me that shows that one is a patriot. It goes more than that. Those are our national symbols. You can talk of the national flag, the coat of arms, and other stuff that make up our national symbols. But that necessarily doesn't make one a patriot. The fact that when I drink water from a bottle, I put it in a dustbin, it shows more of patriotism than putting on the national flag or putting Ghana colors on me. The fact that when I'm driving on the way, I am being cautious of other road users. It's more or less more patriotism than for me to put on the coat of arms on my crest. Yeah, I think patriotism really has more to do with our individual than the state itself, because it's our individual contribution that metamorphizes to the state goals of the country.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Then I think a lot of people have a misconception about the word patriotism, because, when we stand tall during the recital of the national anthem, or when we wave the national flag, when we put our hands on our chest to read the pledge, we feel that we are so patriotic, But I think we've gotten a better insight of the word. But I want to understand patriotism and nationalism. I've seen a number of people use the words interchangeably. Are they synonymous, or do they have completely different meanings?
Okay. If you say they are synonymous, you can be right and wrong.
Okay.
Because I'm an international relations student. I'm training to become a diplomat. And when you go deep into it, you see that there are differences of a sort between nationalism and patriotism. Because nationalism is more deeper than patriotism. It's more like pursuing it aggressively when you talk of nationalism. That you see your country as the best, as the most important thing than any other country. When you talk of nationalism, if I'm from Cote d'Ivoire, I see Cote d'Ivoire as my national identity. You see Ghana as your national identity. But when it comes to patriotism, that's how we see it. But in terms of nationalism, I see my Cote d'Ivoire to be far superior than your Ghana. Yes. So I think nationalism is pursuing patriotism more aggressively.
Okay, but does that transcend into a bad thing, the nationalism? Because if you are thinking that your country is superior than another country, it means you do not respect that other country's values. You do not respect, you don't see that country to have any value.
Well, if you say that from a realist perspective, that's what it means. That America pursue their foreign policy aggressively. It doesn't matter the effect it have on another country. That if I'm invading, for instance, Burkina Faso as a Ghanaian, the government of Ghana decide to invade Burkina Faso, we don't care about the damage or the consequence that Burkina Faso will suffer. We are thinking about our national interest first. So if you are saying that the deep meaning of it shows that you don't care about other countries' interests, to a larger extent, I think you are right.
I see. Then I don't think nationalism is good.
It is.
Comparing it to patriotism. But that would breed a lot of wars, a lot of fights, because chaos, it will bring about chaos. Because if it's in my mind, it's sort of like tribalism, because some people in this country, some tribes, feel they are better than other tribes and they do not want to even associate with some other tribes. If nationalism is like that, then I'm finding it difficult to understand why we want to promote it amongst the youth of Ghana.
It's something that the youth of Ghana should really take it upon themselves to
feel like Ghana is better than Cote d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso.
Yes, because it's an orientation. Once you have that about your country, I think your opening remarks, you made mention of how other countries, their passports that shows their citizenship is more valuable. That I feel that I will have to travel to America or to Canada or to UK before I become prosperous. It is because of how they've held their nationalism, how they see themselves as a country. And that sort of enviness is something that is positive, that the youth, if you are able to embrace it, you would learn great from it.
I see.
Yeah.
That's a lot to to wrap my head around right now. But let me remind our viewers that you are equally invited to join the discourse. Send me your thoughts and views on our WhatsApp number 05313204444. Let me remind you all that my very beautiful outfit is from Lorraine Designs on Instagram. She's Lorraine_Designs on Instagram. She's a very beautiful girl who is doing beautiful outfits. As you can see, my dress is very, very lovely this afternoon. I love it. Let me give you her number so that you can call her, you can reach out to her and then get beautiful outfits for any occasion. You can reach out to her on 02767199962 or 05465775555. So that now let's come into countries like United States of America. Just like you've mentioned, the citizens are not just proud of being citizens of America. They are willing to lay down their lives for the country. They would rather die waving the flag or honoring the country willingly. They willingly die honoring the country. But when you come to Ghana, the story is totally different. And then I sit down to wonder why. It bothers me. Why are we not so willing to die for our country? Is it that the leaders who are the helms of affairs are not leading by example? I say that because if we had those leaders leading by example, we would not be hearing words like do or die be die, boots for boots, and all of that. Is it that the country is not providing a serene environment where the citizens are comfortable and can live their lives up to their full potential? What is really the problem? Why is it that the Ghanaian youth especially are not patriotic at all? They are not willing to die for the... They don't even want to stay in the country. They all want to leave. Look at our nurses who are traveling out of the country for greener pastures. Why do we have that situation in Ghana?
Okay. For me, I think it will not be absolutely right when you link it to lack of leadership.
Okay.
I think we as the youth is also a contributing factor. Yes. If you look at a country like America, which you cited in your remarks, for instance, when Donald Trump was in power, if you look at their foreign policy, how they pursued it, it's totally different from when Biden took over as president. So the leader itself is a determining factor in this whole nationalism and national interest, if you want to look at it from that perspective. But we, the youth, are also part of the problem. Recently, let me give this example. Recently, during the Nooks Congress in Cape Coast, I think a week ago, I was at Cape Coast for the National Union of Ghana election, their Congress to elect new officers. On the sidelines of it, we took the opportunity, myself and a senior officer of mine, to interact with some of our party youth. Throughout the discussion, when we gave them the opportunity to tell them what really issues pertaining to their livelihood and welfare were, everybody is thinking about how the party, which I said, the New Patriotic Party, would benefit them. None of them spoke about what they have to offer for the party. That I feel that as a Ghanaian, I'm supposed to enjoy A, B, C, D as benefits. But the responsibilities that come with it, I'm not willing, on the other hand, to give out to the commitment of those responsibilities. That I'm supposed to drive. I have a car I'm supposed to drive. DVLA is in charge of licensing vehicles and then drivers. They license me to drive. But the responsibility on me is also to be cautious of other road users. So when I drive carelessly on the way, how does I blame that to central government?
But so that, can we blame them? Because if you are driving, for example, classical example, the road to going to get your car at the roadworthy, it's not the road leading to that office. It's not roadworthy, but you have to pass through it. I've seen it on TV. The potholes is despicable, but you have to go through that route to go and check if your car is roadworthy. But the road that you would ply to that place is not roadworthy. So can we blame them? If you are talking about responsibility, these political people, these young people, look up to most of the people in office. So probably they are seeing that those in the office are not being responsible. Are they learning from them? Yes or no?
Yes, we are learning. Yes. I think...
so what are the leaders teaching?
What they are teaching is, first and foremost, nationalism. You see, preserving of civil rights and responsibilities is something that should be started even from your home, not necessarily from a political party that you join or a social group that you join. The fact that I've given birth to a child, it's my responsibility to nurture and imbibe certain values in that person right from the very onset. It is that socialization that would keep the person to a time that he or she is even of age to attend school. So if you don't get those fundamental rights, how do you expect that you fit into society and contribute meaningfully? So I think it is a side-by-side issue that, in as much as the political leadership are expected to put in place certain measures, we as individuals, as youth, is also responsible to live up to the expectation of also keeping to our side of the bargain.
I see. In 2017, the former president of the Republic, Mr. John Dramani Mahama, I can't call him Excellency now because he's no more in office, made a certain statement. Let me quote him. Okay. He says, nationalism and patriotism have become very deficient in Ghana today. Absolutely nobody, I believe he's including himself, thinks about the country first. We all, of course he's including himself now, we all think about ourselves first, our families second, our parties third, maybe our communities fourth, and Ghana comes a distant fifth or sixth, or even 10th. Now the big question is, what do you think is the cause of this? What is causing this? Why are we, he's including himself, why are we not thinking about the country first? Why are we not putting the country before our needs?
Okay, I think, let me start on the note that I agree largely with His Excellency, the former President of the Republic, who is my kinsman.
Okay.
My only prayer is that next year he wouldn't win again.
Okay. I see, your kinsman.
That's true.
That's interesting.
Yes. I think that was the same example I gave you earlier on my experience in Cape Coast. That when we gave you the opportunity to tell us what they think we can do to make the association better, everybody was concerned about what they benefit from the association rather than what contribution they can make to the association, which for me, it's very wrong. Once I've mentioned Nooks, let me use this opportunity to congratulate Chairman Upon Daniel KOD, they call him, and then Suraya Asaribediako, Ismail, my brother, for being elected as new national officers for the National Union of Ghana students. Yes. So back to the matter that you raised about His Excellency, the former president. I think it has to start from the very beginning, how we are being socialized into our various communities and societies that we are brought up in. That if you even decide that you step out here and conduct a survey about patriotism and nationalism, everybody will think that, what do I benefit from it first, before he thinks about what the state or of it, and you are not lifting. It's as good as me not lifting in the first place. But you don't agree with me?
I agree with you to some extent, but are the people, you know, the reason why I keep talking about our leaders is because they say, to whom much is given, much is expected. Those who are in power, are they really lifting? Are they really lifting?
I think so, because you spoke about the American example.
Yeah.
When you talk of America,
we all know that Trump was a nationalist, so
yes,
we all know that.
Relative to the American perspective, his interest was pursuing the American first agenda. But people outside America didn't feel so. Yeah. Yes, because I feel that everything about Trump is about how America prospers. But even aid that used to come to some African countries, they were cut, and largely some of them too were reduced, not entirely. But when Biden took over as president, we see that some of them have been restored. I think if you say Trump was a nationalist, I agree with you totally from the American perspective. But me sitting in Africa, that my foundation largely rely on donor support to thrive, I don't see it to be so. But then the issue of leadership and then those that are being led, I don't think there is much of a difference between it. If you think of America, for instance, how they pay taxes, you can't compare it to the taxes that we pay in Ghana. America, even how I file my taxes, sometimes I don't know, because I only receive my salary and this is ABC that has been deducted from it. And I know I have people like me. Some other people evade taxes. You get it? In America, it's not so. People are genuinely willing that I can even walk to my tax returning institution and say, okay,
because I think my tax, they pay the tax, it works for them.
It's because the money is there. Yes, because no government would get up and money will fall from heaven and say, okay, His Excellency your mama was in power. There's a money of bag here. Use it for national development.
People said, yes, it's Castle. We knew that we were sitting on money in the UK. people said yes, it's the cousins so accommodate.
That is true.
Have we gotten up from the money? Or now we are still sitting on the money?
We are still sitting on the money.
But a combo gusudi.
No, I comment there, sir.
I mean, a combo there is
Look, I think that if you want to make that comparison, it's in our favor as a political party relative to the MPP. Because we're proud to COVID. If you look at all the economic indicators, Ghana was on
COVID
track.
is your biggest excuse. Now
It's not an excuse. It's reality. It's reality. Or when COVID came, you didn't feel it?
Oh, of course, we all experienced it.
Yes. You are sitting here beautifully. In the time of COVID, you even get the opportunity to come to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably you were still being paid whilst you were home.
No. In Ghana, nobody does that. Even the food that you people cooked and shared, we didn't even get some. You are talking about being paid. No. Nobody does that in Ghana.
Really?
Who was paid during COVID and was sitting at home? If you were paid, call in and tell me about it because I didn't receive anything. Yeah. Because every business was suffering, every business was struggling in those times.
Thank you. So it's not the case that we are using COVID as an excuse. It is indeed the reality that transpired during that period.
But COVID is over now and we are still paying COVID taxes. Why? The World Health Organization has declared it's no longer a pandemic, but we are still paying COVID taxes.
I know my boss, the finance minister, would be in parliament sometime this month to do a mid-year review. Maybe let's wait for the new taxes that will be waived and all that.
That's a smart way to get my question. Okay, I see. I've seen some reviews on Facebook, so let me read it before I come to my next set of questions. This is Bra Samar. He says Prince A.A. Sadat, and he puts fire and a heart. This is Dagborn Shaributu. He says, my special greetings to my boss, Prince A.A. Sadat, for his intelligent submission, power to the people. So, in one of the many speeches of the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, he's made it, or we can infer that it's his heart desire to, build the capacity of the citizens, build citizens to be not just patriotic in Ghana, but well-rounded patriotic citizens. And I want to know, how can we join in this dream? How can we share in his dream in building citizens to be so patriotic that we love our motherland? Now we have almost half of our nurses running from here to the UK. Is that not bothering? Is that not worrying?
That's very worrying. I think 2 days ago, a friend of mine in the UK, Justice, he's a former GAPS president, he called. And his first question was, are there NSU or Ghana? Like every day when you wake up, a person or two is calling you that I'm in UK and I need a place to stay while I find my way. And
now is the time that I regret for not choosing the necessary. I would have been in the UK by now.
And he was very worried.
Yeah.
I think that was my opening comment when I said that when you talk of patriotism, it's not necessarily about wearing of paraphernalia of Ghana or putting on the coat of arms that shows that you are patriotic, but it's about our individual selves and being. That I feel that staying in Ghana and contributing my quota to make Ghana become like the UK that I am
staying
trying
in Ghana
to.
and receiving less than 1,000 cedis as a nurse, as a trained nurse in this economy, that
doubt.
your president has said, our president has said that we are in difficult times, receiving less than 1,000 cedis as a trained nurse. Show patriotism?
No, I doubt any nurse receive less than even 2,000
there are lots of them
cedis
who
as a
receive less than
monument.
that. There are a lot of them who receive
Really?
less. Yes, there are a lot of them who receive less than that. And they are not just young nurses. They are professional trained nurses who are receiving less than that. So I've had a couple of them on my show.
Okay.
Yeah.
I also have a cousin. Recently, I was working on her transcript for her at University of Ghana. Her salary is in excess of 3,200 as a nurse. Yes.
In a public hospital?
In a public hospital.
I see.
He's at the WA Regional Hospital.
Maybe it's because of your interceding.
Not really. She was actually a nurse when MPP wasn't in power. Yes.
I see. I see. But how can we join the president in building, patriotic citizens?
I think let's start with a show like this. Your show for me. Let me commend you for putting up such a wonderful show to educate our youth, because that should be the beginning of it, the youth. Because if you look at His Excellency the President, who is making that call, give or take, he is in his retirement ages, because our retirement age for Ghana is 60 years for public service, though he's a president, which doesn't apply to him, but he is in his late 70s. Yes, and I think that that call shouldn't even be coming from him. It should come from we the youth, because if Ghana will prosper, we are the ultimate beneficiaries of it. Yes. Shows like yours should be encouraged. I also think there's something that I have been thinking about really, but I don't know how we can go about it.
Share with us.
Issue of political party funding. That today, if you decide that you want to even contest for a position, even the local level election, assembly elections, that you would need some huge amount of money. I think it's very wrong.
Yesterday, I think I saw filing fee for your presidential candidate around 35,000.
It's 50,000.
50.
Yeah, that's 50,000. That was the filing fee for the presidential.
50,000.
50,000.
Are you not breeding corrupt leaders? Because if you're able to raise that amount and you come into office, it's like an investment. You have to rip us off to get your monies back.
Not really.
You are not raising patriotic citizens.
Because all the people that are filing to become president, they are people that should have a certain pedigree.
I asked you because you talked about, funding.
Yes, the local level elections. Because I feel that you, for instance, that if you want to contest, you are mentioning 50,000 for a presidential filing. If I want to contest for an assemblyman today, I think 50,000 will be too small a money for me to be able to win that elections because of the demand of electorate. I think it's very wrong, and we should start a national engagement around it, political party funding, that it shouldn't get to a point that voters or electorate feel that I should be giving money before I would vote.
Because if you win and you go, I won't see you again. You would not improve anything in my society. So let me take this and probably, get myself something.
So is it a bargain that I'm now trading my vote for the development?
I don't see the development.
But there is hope that when I come and there's no development, you can hold me accountable. But the moment you demand something from me to get me elected,
I've sold my
you've waded that right.
I see.
Yes. Oh, you don't think so?
Well, I'm not asking for that money. Yeah.
So I think we should have a national conversation around it, not just political parties, civil society organizations should also have interest in all these things. And if it's a one-sided argument or discussion, I think that is where we lose the fight. But if NDC, MPP, since the inception of the Fourth Republic, they have been the two parties that have managed the country up to now. I know Uncle Kwesi Pratt would not be happy for me saying MPP and NDC because his CPP is very dear to him. That also reminds me about a thing. When we were growing up, somewhere 2012, Uncle Pratt used to have his Freedom Center around ATTC, Kokomilimle area. I used to walk from Cantonment to Freedom Center just to listen to debates, yes, about Pan-Africanism and all that. I think that's one of the things that motivated me into pursuing international relations and Africanism.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Uncle Pratt is a great man. He's an honorable man of this country. He's a treasure of the country. You have to keep him dearly. But then when you came, you've mentioned NUCS. You've mentioned another association. I don't think I recall it.
GAPS.
And you mentioned that you were asking them what they can do for the political party or the association. And then that reminds me that there are lots of allegations against these student leaders that some of big whips like you placed them there to serve your needs. What were you doing at the Congress of a student body?
I'm a student. I just told you that I'm pursuing international relations at the University of Ghana.
Were you a delegate?
Even aside that, I'm a sitting officer of a NUCS. I'm the director for private integration scheme for the National Union of Ghana students.
Okay, but when you say you were asking them what they can do,
yes,
what they can bring on the table, were you referring to NUCS as
no?
Or as
I went to Cape Coast for the NUCS Congress, but on the sideline of it, I took it as an opportunity to interact with some of our youth groups.
But
yeah, because
do you have people there who sympathize with the NPP?
Yes, please.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
They are part of the students' body?
Yes.
I see.
Yeah, every tertiary institution in Ghana, we have what we call TESCON.
I know. No, I'm referring to the leaders who have been elected into positions at NUCS.
Yes.
I'm asking if you have some of them who sympathize with you.
Exactly.
Okay.
Not just sympathize with us.
They are
have
members.
Some that are members of our political party.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Interesting.
In as much as we also have people that belong to the other side of the political divide. Yeah.
So you are just training them to come and occupy offices just like you have occupied an office for yourself. Is that so?
Not necessarily. Not just to occupy office. When you occupy the office, what next?
You do the party's building.
You should be able to have something that you contribute to national building and all that, not just to occupy an office. Yes, I think the current NUCS president, His Excellency Dennis, KOD is the one that is coming to take over.
Dennis
Apiolabi has done a tremendous job as a NUCS president, and he needs commendation. He's constructing a school building in Kasana Nankana district, the Upper East region. Probably he should have decided that he does it in his hometown or even in my hometown or any of the NUCS appointees' hometown, but he decided to do it in a very deprived community. And I think it's something that is commendable. We should not just be interested in occupying positions, but we should be also concerned about the contribution we have to offer when we are given the opportunity to occupy such
Your government has spoken a lot about fighting corruption. Looking at our states right now, do you think that your government has done a good job fighting corruption?
Relatively, yes. Yeah.
Of course, I wasn't expecting any other answer, so.
Of course you should. Because a government that have come and have taken corruption by the bull, the setting up the office of the special prosecutor, for me, is a super plus for His Excellency.
How many cases has he prosecuted so far?
Last time I checked on their website, I think there are about 59 cases that they were currently taking. Yes. And to appoint someone who is a member of the opposition party, not just the leading opposition party, is Martin Amidu, was the first special prosecutor that was appointed.
But you guys didn't allow him to do his work. He had to resign.
He resigned. Nobody prevented him from doing his work. You know, Martin Amidu, if NDC had won earlier, or he would have been the vice president with Atamils. He was Atamils' first running mate before.
So was that a consolation prize you people gave him?
Not really. I'm trying to let you get an understanding of how deep he is rooted in the NDC. And for a president that came on the back of the New Patriotic Party to appoint him as a special prosecutor, it shows that he really meant he wanted to fight corruption. Yes, because I won't, for instance, appoint someone in the opposing party. Even the government that we succeeded, he was the Attorney General then. So he's not just anybody in the NDC. He's a very deep-rooted person in the NDC. He appointed him as the special prosecutor. Even when he resigned, Kisi Ajabin, he's a very senior lawyer, Lawyer Kisi Ajabin. When he was appointed, he's not a member of the MPP. He's been appointed as a special prosecutor. We have a lot of fine brains in the MPP that the president could have appointed to that position, but he felt that level of neutrality, not to say that if an MPP person is appointed, there won't be neutrality, but the perception that, for instance, if someone like
so is the IGP an MPP person or not? Is that why you people are planning to, remove him from office so that you can win the 2024 election? I'm just asking what I've seen.
Not really. I don't know IGP to be a member of the New Patriotic Party.
But does he sympathize with you?
That I have no knowledge of. But I know people that are in the police service who are former members of political parties. Yes, because if today I am a known member of the MPP, if I decide to resign as a National Youth Wing Administrator of the MPP and go into the police service, till I die, people will still associate MPP with me.
Of course, anybody who's had a little madness and healed, you know, there's just a little bit there that will scare the kids.
But that is not known of the current IGP, Dr. Dampare. The, should I say, conspiracy theories that are coming up about him lately, for me, I think they are not justified. Because nobody has been able to point to concrete evidence that the MPP is planning to take him out of office. In any case, it was this government that appointed him as an IGP. So what's the big deal? That if the president feels that his work is not satisfactory, he wants to change him. Sometimes it's not even about the satisfactory nature of his work. It's also about the vision or how we want the service to take in the next 1 year, in the next 2 years. Probably.
And that didn't change up until election time. Now, you mentioned something about vote buying and then educating the people so that we can help build better patriotic citizens in the country. My question is that who is to blame? I asked that because we saw one candidate of yours who sprayed money, a woman, I've forgotten her name, is it Juliana or something? She sprayed money during the election time, and then it became a lot of brouhaha in the country. Who is to blame? Is it the electorate or the candidates who are sharing the money?
I think the blame should not be put on a single doorstep. Because if I'm going for a position, and you are also vying for that same position, and you might have even bright ideas about running that office than me, but the fact that I have a lot of resources than you automatically means that I'll win that position. That is the point I was coming from, that it shouldn't be the case. That we should get to a point that we say that MPP, NDC, let's have a national discourse on how we fund political activities. Because if I'm meeting probably the electorate and I'm giving everybody even one city, and you are meeting them and telling them about your vision, nobody would listen to you. That is where I think we should start the engagement from. That we should move away from that culture that is breeding. And the reality is that it's not sustainable. There's no way we can sustain that. It will get to a point that if you don't take care, you have hardened criminals ruling this country.
Because they have the funds.
Because they have the resources.
Now, to my very final question, very important question. We've had a long discourse, a very lengthy conversation about patriotism and then nationalism. But why is it so important for us to have the youth of Ghana practice nationalism and patriotism? Why is it important? So, for instance,
I spoke about nationalism earlier on. If we are able to practice nationalism as youth, we are going to be the biggest beneficiaries. Why do I say that? If Ghana becomes like the America example that you cited, it is not going to be the Akufo-Addos or the Mohammeds that would benefit it. It's going to be you and I. So why shouldn't be the concern of you and I to take the bull by the horn and say, we are not going to let our country fall? People would come and do the political cheers, the blame game, putting the blame on NDC and putting the blame on MPP. After all that, what next? When the country comes to its knees, it's not going to be the Akufo-Addos, the Mohammeds that are going to suffer. It's going to be the youth. So we should rather see it more or less as our fight and not their fight. You cited a very nice statement from His Excellency the President and the former President. They are doing it probably because of the political gains they drive out of it. But beyond that, beyond the optics, what really is there for us as youth? Are we going to sit down and allow our future to be toyed around by politicians? Certainly no. We should rather focus on how we build our nation, and shows like yours should be encouraged. Platforms like the Freedom Center that I told you about, Uncle Kwesi Pratt, should be encouraged. I told you I'm a student of international relations at Lesia at the University of Ghana. That is a very fantastic program that I would recommend every youth should have a bite of it. A very intense program though, but if you have the opportunity to sit in some of the classes or the lectures, your orientation about youth and development would change, about nationalism and patriotism.
I would love to continue having this conversation because I am enjoying and I'm getting educated this afternoon, but I'm really pressed for time. And you spoke about, you know, the MPP, the what do we call it? The Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and then Mahama not being the people. But then if that's the case, why are we not giving the power to the people? Why are we not putting the youth in authority? But I wouldn't want you to answer that question. I don't have time. I would have loved for you to answer that, but I'm pressed for time. So what would be your final words on the show today?
My final words. This is a nationalism and patriotism show, and I want to use this opportunity to wish his Professor Zoom Nelson, the boxing great legend, a very happy birthday.
Today is his birthday.
Yeah, today is his birthday. Yeah, he's one of the biggest nationalists we've had in this country, using his punch to be able to sell this country greatly, and I think such people should be celebrated. Aside that, I wish the youth of MPP, first and foremost, and Ghana as a as
you didn't wish Ghana first. You wished the MPP youth
That's
first.
what I told you earlier on about nationalism and patriotism. Yes, I wish the MPP youth the very best in whatever that we do, and it's my hope and prayer that inshallah next year MPP youth wing would deliver the next elections for the party, because this is the first time we are going to have a sitting general secretary who is a youth, a national organizer who is a youth, and our youth organizer who command the youth forces, Commander General Salam Mustafa, someone that I worship the day in, day out, because it's by virtue of him that I sit here today as a national youth wing administrator. And the whole team, J. Hyde, Sandra, and the whole national youth wing, I give them a shout out.
Okay.
And then to my bosses, Samuel Oku, Chairman Efa, the finance minister, and everybody, and my family as well. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. That's for coming. There are some few messages coming in for you. This person says, oh, there's a lengthy one. Good afternoon, please. This is Amin Mohammed, NUC Secretary for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. Kudos, Prince A. Sadat. Amazing submissions. Right, full of good and patriotism. The decline in youth patriotism in Ghana can be attributed to various factors. One possible root cause, I believe, is the lack of comprehensive and engaging national education curriculum. That is, you people roll out new curriculum and you're not giving the kids book. Anyways, that instills a sense of pride, love, and understanding of Ghana's history, culture, and achievements. Another factor can be the influence of globalization and exposure to diverse cultures, which may dilute the sense of national identity among the younger generation. Efforts should be made to engage young people actively in community development projects, volunteering, and civic activities. This is the reason I love the community service of University of Development Studies. This involvement provides them first-hand experiences of the positive impact they can have in their country, fostering a sense of ownership and patriotism. Reviving youth patriotism in Ghana requires a multifaceted approach that includes education reforms, community engagement, media influence, intergenerational dialogue, and empowering the youth to be active contributors to their nation's development. This person says, Youth Empowerment TV show is a good program. Regard to the topic you are discussing, patriotism and nationalism among the youth of Ghana is a nice topic. Watching you from Tamale, inside Tamale North constituency. Is it Goku Parliament House or something? This person says, if I'm president of Ghana, I will go for compulsory national service in many fields like cleaning streets, military, military, police, and many government institutions. In doing that, Ghanaians will go through patriotic program which will make fearless, serious citizens, those of us who lived in the era after the independence. Okay, thank you all for your contribution. I've had such an insightful conversation this afternoon. I'm grateful for your company, and I'm grateful for your company as well. Take good care of yourself. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Trasacco Estates, home to Accra's most beautiful and luxurious
truly African.
So you treat me like a modern slave, Mr.